And then I yell at him, and he goes,
What was that noise again, Clay?
Oh, you're good. We're not recording. She came out all... She looks terrified.
Welcome to the Truffle Shuffle Podcast, guys. Episode 16. And yes, we were recording.
Us recording?
Yep.
I'm just eating my snacks over here.
terrific. Dylan's getting fat. I'm over here on my phone. Nobody's paying attention. Welcome to the Truffle Shuffle Podcast.
Stat day, fat day, everybody.
It is 4:23. I don't know what episode.
Episode 16.
16.
Well, we're off to a great start, you guys.
I'm out of water. Dylan's eating Cheetos over there.
Copyright.
And somehow, Alaric just got a warning on his computer. So this is off to a great start. Still under construction. Still under construction.
All right, gentlemen, let's jump right in it. What's going on in the world of 2022? Current events. What do you got, Clay?
We could talk about the slap heard around the world.
No, we already talked about
Slap it
that.
done.
We already talked about that. Nobody cares about that
How
anymore.
about the shit smelled around the world?
Oh my God, Amber
Amber
Heard
Turd.
shit. Amber Turd.
Amber Turd, everybody.
In his bed.
Our boy
Do you
Johnny
think she
Depp
did
is
it?
finally getting redemption. Did you see the mascara company that backed up our boy Johnny?
No, I did not.
I have not been following the full trial. I just know
Oh,
that everybody's
you're in for a
everybody's
treat.
finally on Johnny's side.
So, back in 2016, Amber Turd said that she carried around this concealer to cover the bruises and stuff that Johnny gave her all the time. And then the company who made that specific line of mascara or whatever it is, I don't know if I can
Concealer or something?
concealer, came out, tweeted and said, that brand didn't start until 2017.
Gotcha, bitch.
So, you know.
Have you seen the
Oh,
two
no.
faces that she
It
has
was-
the whole time?
She said it was between 2012 and 2015, and they said it didn't come out until 2016. That's
She's a
what it was.
fucking idiot. I love the two faces that she has where she's like on the verge of tears. And then she's just like looking around like, what the fuck's going on?
Right.
He's got a good point. And then Johnny's just cracking jokes the whole time. He's
I
cool,
have
calm, and
seen
collected.
that.
I have not
And I
seen the
love
Somebody-
jokes.
what
I've
was
only
it?
seen the sad faces.
No, he has literally gone like he was up on the stand and the guy
Wasn't
was
it
like,
Amber's attorney or whatever was
Trying
like,
to
and you
find
were
something.
he was like you were constantly drunk, and Johnny went, "Were you there?"
yeah.
He just like instantly snapped back. He's like,
But the best was he was sitting there and he was waiting and they said something about him taking the court's valuable time and to Johnny, and Johnny goes, well, the court's valuable time, you mean when you were looking for something for 5 minutes? And everybody was like, and then they were just like,
mm.
uh-oh.
Well, but it's
No.
what do you call it? I heard. Well, the whole thing with like also the Fantastic Beasts movie where they replaced Johnny Depp with Mads Mikkelsen or however you say his last name. Everybody's saying that that guy's performance is great, but the movie has bombed so far
As it
simply
deserves.
because Johnny Depp was replaced. I mean, it's no longer even about the movie. It's
Well, there's
just
also
all the
more
controversy.
reasons why it bombed. So
Well, the Fantastic Beasts movies have never been good compared to the Harry Potter movies.
they've been cinematically great, but the stories have been awful.
I didn't like the first one. Everything is just CGI now. It lost
Well,
all
the
the
CGI
charm.
is really good.
I didn't think the CGI in the
Anyways.
first one was that good.
Full disclosure, I haven't seen any of them.
Oh, well, shut the fuck up, Howard.
I've only seen clips. But
I will say,
It lost all the charm of the Harry Potter movies, and then Johnny Depp got people's attention. It split people, and then you replace him after a movie and a half, and now
while we're on the subject of that movie, you know it's called Secrets of Dumbledore, right? Isn't that what it is?
yeah,
Right? So the big reveal secret is that Dumbledore is gay.
we all knew that.
Hold on. Right, because
I didn't know that.
J.K. Rowling came out later and said it. But
Secret.
but like later as in like back in like 2013, 2014. But Warner Brothers edited it for the Chinese release where they completely removed the
I've
direct
seen
hints
these.
and stuff
Disney
of,
Plus.
of Dumbledore being gay. So the whole secret of Dumbledore was that he was gay. And then the plot
They
is
took
just
rid of
gone now. So
This is what I like about
for
the,
the
double
Chinese version.
standard of everything. Disney is in so much trouble right now.
but that was Warner Brothers.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm just saying because you said China.
China.
There's Disneyland in China or
Sometimes they're just
Tokyo,
missed
or
the
all
ways
that
of
kind of
China.
stuff. Where
China's not in Tokyo. It's Japan.
Wait,
Anyway,
did you say
Shanghai,
Tokyo?
maybe?
I said Disneyland is in China or Tokyo.
For
like
our
they
good
have
mythical
one
morning.
in one of those.
For our good mythical morning listeners, say
Jesus.
Tokyo one more time. Just say Tokyo.
Tokyo! I hope we don't get
Okay.
struck for that.
Why do I keep doing this fucking?
You've got nothing else.
Anyway, with Disney being under fire in Florida, but also because Disney is an entertainment company, and now all of a sudden they decided, oh, we're going to start being political about everything.
Let's correctly
So
live and Stitch.
Start.
What?
Excuse me, start?
It's gotten a lot worse recently.
It's actually
but
Dylan's favorite company.
they're still making billions of dollars in countries where you can't get married to the same sex.
Yeah.
But yet they preach something else. And have you guys seen what DeSantis did to Florida, Disneyland, Disney World,
Tell us, Dylan.
where they started getting involved in that? What's the actual bill called? Everybody calls it the "Don't Say Gay" bill.
Oh,
But what's it actually called?
parental rights and education.
That.
Oh,
They got involved, which says that you can't teach kids under the age of 6.
So you cannot, it's preschool through 2nd grade. You cannot talk exclusively to children about sexuality or gender identity, and tell them that they can't talk to their parents about it.
Which, why the fuck would a school be talking to preschoolers and stuff like that?
I
about
learned
their
about
orientation?
sex in fucking middle school.
The thing
Yeah,
about
and
it,
Never
as well-
once when I was younger did I hear about fucking sex or anything. It was always,
I never
math,
had a
science,
teacher.
cool shit.
I never had a teacher whenever I was a kindergartner come up to me and say, "What do you identify as?" Because you just want to play with Legos.
Now,
So
if a child comes to a teacher in class and goes, "What does gay mean?" The
You can
teacher
answer
is
the
allowed
question.
to say something to them, but
Yes.
it has to be strictly, that's a conversation for your parents.
Bingo. It's
But-
the best
Which
thing
is
to
what
say.
it should be.
But even
But
if I
a
went up to my
teacher-
teacher and I was 6 years old and I said, or however old you are in elementary, and you're like, "What is sex?" That teacher's going to be like, "Fuck off. Go talk to your," not say fuck off to He's going to be
off,
like,
little
"Fuck off,
6-year-old."
stand, go talk to your mom and dad." No, or your dad and your mom
There's-
and mom, whatever you have.
There's also this
It's
is,
got to be political.
so the Democrats, of course, framed it with the media saying that it's called they called it the "Don't Say Gay" bill.
even though
When
it doesn't say gay in the bill one time,
when
right?
it also, it could equally be "Don't Say Straight" bill, because you're not allowed to talk to kids about being heterosexual either.
Should never have ever been a thing. I'm sorry.
Well, the only reason it came to existence, is because there's all these teachers in there and all these schools nationwide that are now, it's all these teachers putting out videos on TikTok and YouTube and all that stuff, and a lot of them have gotten fired, which I think is great.
Good.
Because they're coming out and they're like, guess what we did today in preschool? We talked about our genitals. And I'm
Nope.
like, get my child the fuck out of your class. But DeSantis comes out when Disney starts fighting them against that bill in the state of Florida. And like all of a sudden they're like, we will do everything in our power to shut this bill down. And DeSantis goes, first off, you're an entertainment company. Learn your fucking place.
Yeah.
And he goes, you want to start getting involved in politics? He's like, fine. Maybe you don't get those tax cuts on your land anymore.
Bingo.
And all of a sudden they've been real fucking quiet.
The real thing is I think DeSantis took a wrong approach here, and let me explain. Instead of removing Disney's, special tax, the ability to tax themselves at the rate they choose on their own land, he should have extended it to all citizens. Your land, you do what the fuck you want on your land.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Freedom.
No, that's not.
But
But
that's
the thing
just
is-
my libertarian wet dream,
But that's the state of Florida helping Disney because they are such a big company and they bring so much to Florida.
Yes.
But that's also, I respect him for saying that because,
They are a guest in the state. They do not run the state.
well, but it's a way of saying, like, we've been helping you all this time. Now you're pissed off about politics. You're an entertainment company. Deal with that on your own. Stop getting involved in our shit. You don't matter in the world of politics.
Yeah.
And it drives, everybody does this nowadays.
The
It drives
only
me
reason
insane.
I have an argument against that, saying that Disney doesn't have a voice, which I don't agree they should. They drive so many people to Florida for just to go to Disney.
Oh, yeah.
They don't
Orlando
fucking
is-
do anything else. They go
Orlando
to Disney
is
and spend
huge.
millions probably billions of dollars every year, hell, every month at Disney, because a ticket's what, $300 fucking to go for one day or some crazy shit.
I don't know what it is now,
So-
but they've just been getting in more and more flack with raising the prices.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you have to do a.
Vaccination.
It's like you have to. Well, no, not in Florida.
Oh yeah, that's right, too.
But
So,
you have to do like. They invented something that was like supposedly they said to help them with crowd control when they came back out of the pandemic. But it's like you now have to buy a ticket and then you have to make sure that you can book a reservation on the same day. So there are like thousands of people that are buying tickets and then finding out that they can't get in the day that they bought the ticket. Because they have this whole reservation thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you have to get both. And they're like, why is the ticket not the fucking reservation? And everybody's just, I don't know. It's
I hate to say it,
it's
everywhere's
honestly
like that
just to
right
make more
now.
money, I think.
We my girlfriend and I, we tried to go to the aquarium down here in Cincinnati. And
Newport?
Newport Aquarium. And I was like, oh, it's today. We don't have anything going on. Let's go to the, like we used to all the time when we were younger. And I looked on there and it's like, you have to, like, in advance, tell us what time you're going to be here. And you could only be here for like 2 hours. I'm like, what?
What?
And you
Yeah.
said, excuse me, the
So
fishies
you-
have no concept of time.
No,
not
when,
true.
When me
But-
and her went down, you just had to, you had an entry time so that
Online
they could,
it says you have an entry and it says they want you to only be there for like 2 hours.
oh, when we went, there
When
was
did you go?
nothing about how long you could be there.
Because we went a long time ago. Like, well, it wasn't a long time ago. It was 2021
We went back in,
last
yeah,
year.
we went back in
I
2021.
think they changed it because of people just vaccinations and all that stuff. Now masks are optional.
Yeah, we didn't
is
have to wear
awesome.
masks when we were there.
Oh, well, you must have went right after I went because they were still making us wear masks.
But no, some people had masks on in there, but not everybody did. But we had an entry time
Mhm.
just so that they could stagger how many people are going in at the exact time.
Yeah.
But there was nothing about when you had to be out or how long you could look at an exhibit or whatever. You just went.
I
in.
don't know. I just want to go back to BC before COVID because this shit sucks. So anyway, I have a lighthearted story I'd like to talk about.
All right, what you got? What you got? What you
So
got?
today is the 23rd, and 3 days ago we had April 20th, better known as the stoner holiday of the world.
Or Dylan's favorite day, Hitler's birthday.
Yeah, is that what you celebrate?
Hitler's born on 420.
Yep.
Oh my God, you should see the smile on his face right now. He's
Dude,
like, I'll
he's
smoke
grinning.
a J for him every day. No, not really.
You'd think that the Joker was sitting with us. How big that smile is.
Dude.
When did I become a fucking Nazi?
I don't know.
When-
Clay did it one time, and I had to roll with it because how else am I going to drop that? It's
So let me
Hitler's
just
birthday.
read the headline. It's
I hate
very
this show.
long.
If you're listening, turn it off. Turn it off right now.
But
Stop
I
listening.
Fucking love it. Florida bride and caterer arrested after dozens of wedding guests got sick from weed-laced lasagna and desserts, including chocolate-covered strawberries
As
and
they
pudding
should have.
shots.
Weed-laced lasagna.
A bride,
That's one I've never heard.
and her caterer faced felony charges. Dude, you don't just share the edibles. Like, that's not how it works.
Do you know how much money that costs?
So, sending several to the hospital. What the fuck? Let's see here.
So what state was this in?
Where do you think?
Florida.
Yep. So,
God bless America.
a name this lady has. Bride Dania Shea Glennie Savoboda.
Oh, this is
that.
so. This is
That's
not her
probably
first
a white
wedding.
trash chick.
This is not her first wedding.
It sounds kind of Russian-y, doesn't it?
Danya Sheglanis. Oh, Svoboda.
Yeah.
42.
Uh-huh.
Wait. Caterer Jocelyn. Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
that was the.
So the
caterer.
caterer was in on it, which is fucked up.
What about the husband?
But I don't think he was
The
in on it.
groom.
He probably got fucked up too. And he was probably just like,
The groom is like,
this lasagna
I
to die.
don't know who this woman is.
He's like, this
You're
lasagna is to die for.
To
Both parties turned themselves in. About 50 guests attended the wedding. Let's see here.
Oh,
They-
only
they
50?
turned
Which
themselves
became a weed-fueled disaster after several unwitting One winning guests helped themselves to marijuana-infused chocolate-covered strawberries pudding shots and lasagna. Why would you put weed in lasagna?
Why wouldn't you put weed in lasagna?
It's
Lasagna
oregano.
is fantastic.
It's oregano.
So
We
there's
just use a fuck ton of it.
it's oregano. But yeah, so one guest told he texted the groom asking whether the food had been drugged after his wife fell ill and was taken to South Seminole Hospital. Allegedly told the guest that he didn't know. Bull fucking shit. You guys are lightweights. Like, come on. I mean, I have had edibles in Amsterdam and I wanted to die. But
They all went to the hospital? Are you sure it was marijuana?
it says weed.
Because I'm
Some of
pretty
these
sure
people are
that like
soft.
there's a catchphrase in the...
Okay, let's think about this.
Nobody
Well,
has
here-
ever OD'd
if-
on marijuana.
Then
If
here's
you
the thing.
don't know and you've never had weed in your life and you're just a boring person that's never done it once, and then you have no idea what's going on, and then you're like, dude, I want to die right now. Like I've had some edibles that you're just like, yep, time to die.
But it just depends on how much they put in.
If it's in lasagna, it's got to be a lot because
But I mean, like, if
lasagna
they just
cooks
put a
for
little bit
while.
in, it's like people wouldn't go to the hospital. Now, if they put a shit ton in there, and the intent was to see how fucked up they could get people.
There's a story from a friend of mine that he took an edible one time, a brownie, and he ate the whole thing. Come to find out, his buddy was like, "You're only supposed to take like a corner of it." He lost his hearing.
Is this story...
He lost his
Like-
hearing.
I said, "Were
Is
you
this
just like?"
buddy and you...
I said, "Were you just like?" Doo? He's like, "No, lost my hearing. Almost went to the hospital." So I can understand. So yeah, 420. If you didn't celebrate it, that's fine. If you did, you're probably in college.
Now watch this segue here. On 420, did you eat too much? Are you feeling a little bloated? Well,
It's
did
421.
Did you know that on CNN, of course,
Here we go.
they released an article on 420 from an interview with Tamara Pryor, a senior fellow and director of research at ED Care, an eating disorder treatment center based in Denver. And she is claiming that it is now offensive and a real problem when you compliment someone on weight loss.
Naturally.
So I have lost some weight, Dylan.
I know, Clay,
I would
and
prefer,
if I say...
I would prefer you not to talk about it. I have worked very hard for it, and I do not want you to talk about it. I don't even
Well,
want
there's-
you to notice it.
This it popped up on my news thing, and I was like, "This can't be real." I thought it was like Babylon Bee or something like that, where it was like those joke ones. And then I was like, "This is fucking CNN. This is exactly what they would say." It is now like, where is it? It says we need to stop complimenting weight loss.
I'm gonna exclusively do it now. So go
I
fuck
know.
yourself, CNN.
Well, it's like who goes now? I don't know. Now there's like all these cases to be made about like, well, what if somebody has cancer or something? We're not talking about when you're
Good.
losing
You
weight,
lost weight, bitch.
You got a little alopecia on there, but you lost some weight. Hey,
Keep your dick out of my wife's mouth.
Jada, can't wait to see you.
But it's like,
Is
I'm
that
not-
Will Smith coming in?
I'm not talking about people who look like ill and stuff like that. I'm talking about when your 300-pound friend goes down to 250.
And has stretchy skin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's like, this is what she says. So, I mean,
Or when your bigger friend from high school now orders a small fucking T-shirt.
And looks like a fucking hunk.
Yeah. Quit being sexy, Tanner. God.
I'm learning a lot of
come
things
back,
about
we missed
myself when
you.
you're around, Tanner.
It was literally like Chris Pratt. Tanner's the Chris Pratt of the group. Great.
I just cut out beer and just dropped 60 pounds.
damn.
You still haven't seen that show. How dare you?
Oh my God.
Parks and Rec, everybody.
Oh, well, no, they took it off of Netflix. So I haven't
It's on
seen it yet.
Peacock. You said you're watching The Office. If you're watching The Office, you have Peacock.
No,
Go
I
watch
have-
Parks and Rec.
I have The Office on DVD.
Number one, how dare you? Okay.
Can we get back to the fat people here?
Jesus.
All right.
Yeah,
so-
let the fat person talk. Go ahead.
So, go ahead, Clay.
I've lost weight.
Yeah, but you're still the biggest one.
I'm not the one eating Cheetos, bitch.
I
Let's
haven't
go.
eaten yet
Come on.
today. It's Saturday.
Yeah,
I
we didn't
feel
eat Cheetos in the opening. We both have agua.
I have nothing.
nothing.
Air.
Anyway. So this is the interview that she sat down with. I don't know why in the hell they would ever talk to this one. So it says CNN says, why else is complimenting someone's weight loss on or thinness problematic? And this Tamara Pryor says it's intrusive. Whose business is it for us to be passing judgment? So what this means is I haven't seen what this lady looks like, but she's probably fat.
Fat.
So
She
I was gonna
probably
say it, but I didn't want to
morbidly
because
obese.
it says we take a look at people and we make judgment calls, but we need to keep it to ourselves. Now, I can understand that whenever you look at someone and you're like, wow, they're fat, or wow, they're ugly. But whenever you know someone and they lose weight because they're trying to lose weight, why would you not compliment them on their success?
Well, in both those scenarios, the two different people were both looking at Lizzo, so.
And then it says, I'm just scrolling through this here. It says, how might people on the receiving end feel? And then she says, if somebody said to me, oh my gosh, you look great, you've lost some weight. She said the first thing that would come to her mind is, what did you think of me beforehand? Was I not acceptable? Oh, Jesus Christ. Are we back to this? Does everybody have to be accepted by 7 fucking billion people on this planet?
people are gonna hate you because you're a shitty person. I'm sorry. If you
Stop.
want to be a shitty person over there. Be fat over there. Be skinny over there. I don't give a fuck what you do.
Yeah, well, if you're too fat,
Stop.
you're fat over there and over here. So it's
Yeah, you're everywhere.
The real thing is for a lot of people losing weight is getting healthier. So
Yes.
Yeah.
you're pointing out that you believe that people look and feel healthier. Chances are they do feel healthier.
But it also,
I
it's
feel
a
better.
huge. Okay, Clay, you're on a diet.
Yeah.
How much of a commitment does it take to actually successfully lose weight?
Oh, it's hard.
Exactly. See, everybody assumes that you can just do it, like all these Hollywood stars and all that kind of stuff.
The convenience.
No one thinks about the actual commitment and dedication that it takes to get in that level of shape. So why would you not compliment somebody on their success on that journey?
It takes a lot. It sounds so stupid, but convenience is I talked to Alec about this the other day. Convenience is my weakness. When I come
Fast
home
food.
from work, I'm like, okay, whatever's there, I'm going to grab it, eat it until I feel full. And now I'm like, I have chicken and rice. And I just put whatever kind of sauce I want. I don't douse it in sauce, but I put whatever kind of sauce in there and I eat it. And I'm like, okay, I'm full. Cool. Next. It's there. It's ready. I put it in the microwave. My problem, again, is convenience. When I'm out and I'm like, I'm hungry, shit, I don't, I need to go do this and that. And then I'll just go grab food from Taco Bell or something. And it's been so hard to not just go to Taco Bell. I did it once and I felt like shit right after. I just got like one soft taco, which is not enough to feel like shit. But
That was like me when I cut
it's
back
hard.
on fast food. It's when I had it again.
it doesn't taste as good.
It's not the food that you miss.
loses the
it's the
edge.
convenience that you miss.
But I will say Taco Bell breakfast still slaps. I don't care
okay.
how skinny, how fat you are. I haven't had it yet.
They're dead to us, but their food still slaps.
They're not dead to us. Still a potential sponsor. No. So, yeah.
But anyway,
the convenience is what
I
the
found
problem
that
is.
article, like it popped up on my news thing, and I was like, this is really what the world has come to where now,
Everybody's offended.
well, everybody's a
About
victim. It's what I like there is where she says, was I not acceptable?
Yeah.
Who fucking cares?
No, bitch, you weren't.
But it's like, why does everybody
Womp,
have to be
womp, womp,
accepted
womp,
and
womp,
loved
womp, womp.
by every goddamn person on this planet? You'll never see these people again. Get over yourself. You're not important.
Fart
Moving
in
on.
public. Do whatever you want. Fuck it. Poop on the bed. I don't know, Amber Heard.
Amber Turd.
All right, let's move on
right.
to something a
I've
little
got
less. What do you
something.
got? What do you got?
So, have you guys ever had like walkie-talkies
Yes.
growing up and everything?
That was
Did they ever pick up, just random other people's conversations?
Yes. It happened at the track the other day.
I did not.
I got to yell at some little kids. Get off
My
these
son,
walkie-talkies.
my 4-year-old, got a pair of Pikachu walkie-talkies for Christmas this past year, and he has left them on ever since he pulled them out of the box. Last night I found them.
Did you hear somebody having sex
Oh, this is going to be
No.
creepy.
while holding the button on the walkie-talkie?
I have, if you turn your attention to the screen,
We don't have a screen. Oh, there's a screen.
Thank you.
There's two.
We're having technical issues over here at the basement studio.
I have.
Under construction. Let's hear it.
This is like 4 a.m.
That's a cop.
Uh-huh. Well, fuck you, Sally.
I doubt they could hear you.
I know. I think they switched channels after that.
They switched.
I
'cause
would
they knew
too.
somebody else
Like,
was picking up.
The
a-
fuck? So it could be 4 in the... I own this channel. This is
How dare you show up on my Pikachu?
How dare you?
Mm.
Yeah,
this-
they
this
never
sounded like cops.
replied after that.
It sounded like cops that...
See, the only walkie-talkies I had when I was a kid was one that was Spider-Man and one that was Green Goblin, and they
course
were
you
like
did.
actual figures, and they were so crappy they didn't even connect to each other.
So in the same room, we had to yell still. Hey, can you still hear me?
But they will just randomly will hear.
Could be just driving by. They could be like right across the street over here. Right across the street over.
We're over here, 2 blocks over from this. We're getting some interference. Better change channels.
That'd
damn
freak me the
Carla
fuck out
found
if I'm
me.
just having a conversation at 4 a.m, nobody's awake, and then somebody goes, "Hello."
I,
You're like,
I was playing
Shit.
Fortnite on my Switch because I was bored.
of course you were. It's terrible on the Switch,
Oh,
isn't
it's
it?
awful. But the players are also awful. So
Well, look
I was
what they're
pretty-
working
I
with.
was doing pretty good.
Oh man. Yeah.
Well, great to know.
Walkie-talkies.
Great to know that we can send people to the moon, and we have all this technology, and we can't get a fucking Pikachu walkie-talkie to work properly.
Oh, it works properly.
Oh, it worked properly.
It works.
Just
We
why
can't-
are we using the same signal?
We can't get the police scanner to work properly.
One day, so when I worked at my previous job, I had a walkie-talkie for my helmet, and I left it on one day as I'm driving down West Carrollton. All I ever hear is, "Yeah, I'm gonna get you some McDonald's, Jimmy." It's just like, and then it pulls up, and I see the cop like next to me, and I'm like, I did like the ringing phone thing, and he goes, "Huh?" I said, "Yeah, don't worry about it."
You don't understand.
Just be like, I hear you, bitch. Go get a
But
McDonald's.
It was in the back
Oh,
of my. It was in the back of my car, so I couldn't get to the radio. I was like,
Cop would
I
definitely
can
pull you
hear
over
you.
if you got out, walked around to the back. They're like, he's getting a
just
gun.
open the trunk, snap something off a helmet. I can hear you.
He just walked right next to his car in the intersection. Over.
All right, so I've got another one here, which I think, Alaric, you said you heard about this story. Clay, I don't know if you did. This all took place right before the pandemic. It all took place right before the pandemic. And then the story, like it happened as it went through, the story didn't actually come out until recently. So this man won $450,000 in a lawsuit after his work surprised him with a birthday party that he did not want. Have you heard this
Oh
one?
my God, I did hear this.
You-
This
but-
is terrible.
But did you hear the full story?
Yeah, and then they tried to sue, or he sued.
Well, at first you seem like, oh my God, how can someone sue you for not wanting a birthday party?
Tell us the details, Dylan.
Anxiety.
Then you find out
I'm getting
fucked up.
anxious figuring it. Just listening to it.
you've already know
It's
the
a
story.
sensory
Alaric, you shut
problem.
the fuck up. Well, Kevin Burling, 29, was working as a lab technician in Gravity Diagnostics in Covington, where they said, like he told him whenever he got hired and all that he has like anxiety problems and panic attacks, and he said, I do not want an office birthday party. They threw him one anyway,
That means you want one.
which then caused him to have. When you just
Panic attack.
hear the headline, you think, "Oh my God, this guy's just didn't want to do it," and then he somehow won money
Because
off
the
of it.
headlines are there to
Mhm.
make so people don't read them. They're like, "Oh, I figured it out." Entitled bitch. Walks
Well,
on.
so he has such an anxiety problem that it caused him to have a panic attack, which normally I'd be like, okay, all right, well, go figure that out and no more birthday parties for you. Until then, the next, I don't know if it was the next day or later that week, his managers called him in. And they started giving him a hard time, and they were reprimanding his unprofessional behavior.
Did it say what he does for a living?
He's a lab technician at Gravity Diagnostics.
Yeah, Gravity
Incoming.
Diagnostics, go fuck yourself, because this is fucked up.
Well, it says he later filed a Being said that he subsequently suffered a panic attack from the unwanted attention, he was soon fired from Gravity Diagnostics because the management team said that they didn't like his attitude about the whole thing, even though he kept getting panic attacks.
Jesus.
Now, this happened back in 2019. Then what it was is something about let's see. When he asked them not to throw a birthday party for him when he first joined the company in 2018, stating that he had panic attacks. They forgot his request, and the office festivities went ahead, giving Burling a panic attack. He was forced to flee to his car, where he spent an hour trying to recover. The following day, company bosses held a meeting with Burling and asked about his behavior. That incident sparked another panic attack. Burling was then fired from Gravity Diagnostics less than a week later, with bosses telling him that they were worried about him being angry and possibly becoming violent. Now, this occurred, the lab technicians subsequently missed out on being part of the rapid growth, which occurred during the COVID pandemic. At this time, the employees were giving 300% raises to stay on during the pandemic, and he was laid off just before COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
So, he sued them basically for the unjust firing and for all the losses in wages that he would have made, and he made $450,000
Now they
off
owe
of
him.
that.
See, well, the thing is there. At least, see, I thought it was just them being like, "Oh, he doesn't want a party. We'll throw him one anyway." If they just straight up forgot, which is an honest mistake. But then on top of that, they get mad at him.
They reprimand him because he left the party due to a panic attack.
We threw you this big old party, and you just had to sit there and cry and run to your car.
You ruined everything. We wasted a good surprise on you.
What movie's that from? Anybody know? Anybody know?
I don't know.
Big Daddy.
Yeah.
Wasted a good surprise on you.
But at first I was like, when I first heard about it, I was like, fuck this guy for suing a company because they threw him a birthday party. I thought he was playing victim.
Didn't they do that in Horrible Bosses too?
What?
When they
Kevin Spacey. He's like, God damn it, I hate prizes.
You can't run a marathon without putting some band-aids on your nipples.
Real quick before we go to commercial, has anybody seen the new Batman movie?
No, but it is on HBO.
I'm
and
going to
I
watch
plan
it
on
this
watching
weekend.
We were gonna go see it in theaters, and then
I want
our
to.
babysitter fell through.
I want to real bad.
Eh.
Well, I'm glad nobody's seen it yet, so we can talk about it next week.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
So
It's on the list.
I guess you can see it next week. All right.
to commercial we go.
And now a word from our sponsor. This episode of Truffle Shuffle Podcast is brought to you by Truffle Shuffle Podcast. Oh, that's right. Your hearing is working just fine. Not only can you now hear our silky smooth voices, but you can also wear us. And everything in between. Head on over to TruffleShufflePodcastMerch.com. Yes, I know it's long, but it's worth it. TruffleShufflePodcastMerch.com. Be sure to check back frequently because we will be updating items, eventually, with our faces. The perfect gift for anyone, including scaring your grandma. TruffleShufflePodcastMerch.com. Wait for it. Aw!
Oh,
You
yeah.
cut it off.
Cut it off.
Didn't it usually say, oh yeah?
Yeah, the old one.
Oh, that was the old one.
So I now realize that I still had it muted for the radio conversation, so that's gonna sound pretty dumb.
Yeah, fantastic. So that whole segment back there where we were talking about that walkie-talkie, he actually played, well, if you looked at your screen,
I'll just put it back up.
he played this. Which is where if you're looking at the screen, it's a video of him and everything he was hearing and a conversation about, what's her name, Sally?
Well, they can hear it now.
Yeah, well, that's why earlier I said, fuck you, Sally, and they have no idea what I'm talking about.
Sally, we used to go camping or to the cottage all the time
Yeah,
together.
fuck you, Sally.
She had the total opposite taste to me.
And
We
they
were
were roommates.
best friends, but total opposite taste.
Anyway, well, he played the whole thing about how
He
he...
sounds like a great guy.
There it is, yep.
Heyo.
He played the whole thing about how he tuned in to somebody else's conversation, and now he realizes that none of you could probably hear that. So
And now I'm sad.
we've got a great guy behind the computer here, everybody.
Listen, you couldn't do any better, Dylan. You don't even know the difference
Hello?
between a Windows and a Mac.
I know that one is more expensive. That's a difference.
Yeah.
Well,
How did you get on this channel?
oh, it's still playing?
This is my Pikachu.
This is my Pikachu radio.
Oh my god.
Who is this?
Turn it off. Well, anyway, during commercial break, ladies and gentlemen,
We lost.
we had a
dwarf.
tragic accident.
He's gone.
Clay was arrested on charges
Of necrophilia.
with a minor.
You know what necrophilia is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do know.
Not only was he defiling a dead corpse, a dead body, but it just happened to be a child.
Whose baby is this?
God.
So, Clay, you will be sorely missed. And we hope that you're getting your cheeks clapped in prison, because it's what you deserve for leaving the podcast early, you son of a bitch.
Yep. Not because of the crime he committed.
No,
but
no,
because
no,
he
not
left the
because, I mean,
podcast
who
early.
hasn't committed a little necrophilia? So it's...
Well, he just took it too far. He didn't look at the birth or death date, you know.
No, you got to keep it within 24 hours. So it's... Anyway, okay, on to something else. So, another story that I have is Netflix has reported its first loss in, like...
Ever.
Ever, I think, yeah. Let's see. On Tuesday, Netflix announced its most recent quarterly earnings, and they were, to say the least, not great. They were the worst the company has ever reported, and the stock fell 25% after the announcement. I think it's now dropped over 35%, because I saw a thing. They said that they lost 200,000 subscribers. And then they said that they're going to crack down on password sharing, which all streaming services have said this the entire time. They didn't say anything about the fact that their price is now double what it used to be.
Yeah, it used to be like $6.99 a month.
Now it's like $16 for the basic plan, something like that?
I think I pay $20 a month because I have like 5 people using it.
Oh. Well, but still, now you're living in a day where everybody has a streaming service.
Well, the thing is like, if you don't want people to password share, why do you make it so you can make multiple profiles?
But I don't understand why. Well, what is it? You can have 3 accounts on Netflix?
You can have 5.
You can have 5. Okay, well then why are they freaking out for people having 5?
Oh, because they're supposed to be 5 different people in the same household.
Yeah, like that was going to... Well, think about it this way. I use my family's Netflix, but I have it on all my devices. So I can do it wherever I go. But then they use my Hulu and stuff like that, and they have it on their devices. So like I don't know. But you've got so much competition nowadays. And then it says, yes, that where'd it go? After that they announced their quarterly thing, it fell in total, their stock plummeted by 35.1% to its lowest point since 2018.
Whoa, go broke, bro.
They lost...
Sorry, everybody. Dylan is dying over here.
Holy crap. My sinuses are going insane.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the penicillin in your mouth.
No, that should clear it up. I don't understand what the problem is.
It coats the back of the throat.
But it says oh my God, I'm having a stroke. Netflix loses
Oh, genius.
$54.3 billion market value in one day after reporting its subscriber loss.
Well, I mean...
But also, who doesn't have Netflix? They're talking about how they need to keep adding...
They are losing subscribers because they're going woke with all their bullshit. They're starting to push more and more of this child sexuality stuff.
Well, all of their original content is getting worse and worse.
Think of it this way. Isn't Euphoria, isn't that a Netflix show?
I don't even know what that is.
It's that new Zendaya show. It's like, you remember Degrassi on Nickelodeon?
Kind of like
how
that teen
show
drama
was like
thing.
teen drama in the high school. It felt kind of risque, but the worst thing they ever did was like, They had like a couple makeout scenes.
Let's see. Euphoria. Yes, that is a.
It's a Netflix.
Well, no, it's a Zendaya. It's a Zendaya show. It is HBO.
Oh, well. Anyways, Netflix has been putting out a lot of shows like Euphoria. Well, they have that Sex Ed.
Which I really, really liked the first season. And then
Why did you watch that, Dylan?
it was funny. Sex
it was
ed.
teenagers having sex.
I thought
that is minor pedophilia.
I thought Sex Ed on Netflix was actually really, really good. And then at season 2 was okay. And then I honestly haven't watched it since because I've seen clips from the newest seasons and now it's nothing. They forget the actual story, or they forget about telling an actual story that in like making you laugh and all that kind of stuff because they want to cram pile everything to be gay and woke
Well, the thing
and
is,
trans and all that. And I'm
you
like, that's what the show was about. But now that's taking precedent over the actual story of the characters. They're turning their normal characters to the opposite side just because.
This drop in subscribers is a long thing coming. Do you remember when Cuties came out in 2019?
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
Cuties was like the first straw that broke the camel's back, you know? People started waking up to what Netflix was doing when they greenlit that movie, which is absolutely horrific. I did not watch it, but I've read countless and countless reviews, including the ones that praised it, and then I put those guys on the list.
It was like it was cheerleading, wasn't it?
No, it was like dry humping the stage, dancing, and
it was like
masturbating to porn 11-year-olds.
It was like a bunch of like super young girls doing dances like Nicki Minaj, and it was supposed to be empowering. They're 11 in like these skimpy little outfits.
If you want to tell that story, you can tell that story by just showing like the parents' faces when it gets to like the really raunchy stuff, and you're like, oh. But then you dig deeper into it. They auditioned over 800 girls for that movie.
Wait, okay, so this is my next question. I never watched it. It's a movie. It's not a show?
It's a movie.
Now, is it a documentary movie or is it a movie?
It's a movie.
About little girls
movie
sexualized.
About very hyper-sexualized, like 11-year-olds.
Yeah, no, that's
the
not.
The synopsis of the movie on Netflix is like little summary thing. It said 11-year-old Tina or whatever her name is.
How do you spell it?
Cuties, like the tangerine oranges, like the little oranges.
Like COOT?
CUTIES.
CUTIES. I'm not getting anything.
You're not getting anything.
It's not popping up as like
Are you on Netflix?
No, I'm on IMDb. Like to look at it. It's not popping anything up. Did they just remove the whole thing?
I don't know.
Probably got too much backlash. Let's see. What do you got over there behind the
I have it.
How do you spell it?
CUTIES. I don't know how you're not getting this.
Is it 2020?
2020.
I've got one in a different language.
It's French. Yes.
Oh, it is?
That's it. It's a French movie.
Okay, all right. Well, it's not coming. Yeah, it wasn't coming up. But see, this is where it gets really creepy. It's got a 3.4 out of 10 from the audience.
The fact that it has something that high.
But no, it's got a 67 out of 100 by the critics.
Yeah,
it's actually a positive Metascore.
It has an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes.
What the fuck? It says, okay, here is the IMDb summary plot. It says Amy, an 11-year-old girl, joins a group of dancers named the Cuties at school and rapidly grows aware of her femininity, upsetting her mother and her values in the process.
So,
they're 11.
But the movie stomps on all traditional values, of course, because that's the idea. It's supposed to be the rebelling movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's actually Muslim.
Well,
I think she's a she's a Muslim or a Middle Eastern immigrant into France is like the idea. She's from an immigrant family,
Mm-hmm.
and that she's rebelling, and so that's like their way of like, oh, traditional values.
I'm
Because
looking.
the mom, I think if I remember correctly, it was like the mom was in an arranged marriage and everything, and never really explored herself as a child. So that's what this movie's about. Which children. You should not make movies about children exploring themselves.
I'm looking through the photos here from the movie on IMDb. I mean, these girls are walking around in short shorts, skirts, and they're literally posing like sluts. Look at this. This is an 11-year-old girl in a crop top
Yep.
with her finger in her
Yep.
mouth
Yep.
as they're talking about, I'm assuming, sex. These are 11-year-olds.
There's a scene in it where they go out into the woods or whatever, and they start masturbating to porn. You see a video of a girl showing like they're masturbating, hand in her underwear. They
Now-
cut it off. Or apparently they cut it off at the stomach or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you're still simulating an 11-year-old masturbating in a movie.
Now, is this a Netflix original?
Yes.
If it is a
Net-
Netflix film,
Netflix
but it's a
original.
French film.
It was at the French Film Festival or whatever. Netflix bought the rights to it, so it's a Netflix original.
Now, here's the Netflix description of it, like on their site. It says she's looking for acceptance and ways to rebel, but for a girl raised in a strict culture, these are risky moves.
That was not what it used to be.
That's what it says.
Right. They
yeah.
changed it after the backlash, but
It's still gonna get
Then you have-
backlash when you
then
have
you
these
have
little
stuff that-
kids.
as much as we liked the first couple seasons because it was funny, Big Mouth.
Oh,
Big Mouth
has
is
fallen
literal.
completely off the wagon.
Well, I mean, literally retrospectively, I probably will never watch it again. Even the funny seasons,
I go back and I'll watch season 1 through
Because-
3.
because while it is still a cartoon, it's still about hyper-sexualized children, and I can no longer separate that.
True.
So it's like,
All right, good point.
Nick, I picture Nick Kroll because he does his voice perfectly as himself in the show.
hmm
But it's like, as funny as it was, it's way too hypersexualized.
Well, the
and
first
they're children. So
the first 3 seasons seemed like they had an open book, meaning like it was the creators of the show telling stories about adolescence and what it's like, telling a certain perspective of it, like the kids going through puberty, guys with like learning what their dick is, random erections, all that kind of stuff, girls getting periods, all that kind of stuff.
but you could do it without animating the actual things.
True, it was a risque take on it from the beginning.
I wouldn't say risque. I'd say explicit.
Okay, it was an explicit take on it from the beginning. That's fair. But then after season 3, it almost seemed like,
They just went all gross, no funny.
well, but it almost seemed like they no longer had control over their own show.
Or they ran out of ideas.
Could be that.
They basically, the whole plot was like the friendship, and then at the end of season 3 they broke the friendship, or pseudo broke the friendship between Andrew and Nick. And then where do you go from there? You just had this crappy summer camp thing that just kept getting worse and worse, and then
It was terrible.
the 4th season was just awful, and now they just renewed for season 7.
Well, it was the first 3 seasons were about the kids, and it didn't have anything to do with it. They explored them being, they explored if like they were going through like the challenges of like, like, am I gay? Am I straight? All that kind of stuff, blah, 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 blah. But they did it in funny ways. And then in those future seasons, it no longer became about the kids and the characters. It was just, it all went woke.
And it was all gross.
Yeah, it was no longer about it. I don't know. It lost what made it work. Those first 3 seasons, because you would never think that those first 3 seasons were considered woke, or they were never liberal, they were never conservative, they were never anything like
Well,
that.
they were pretty liberal from the get-go.
No, but I mean, like
You
they
had
hit all sides of
you
everything.
had Lola,
Mm-hmm.
Lola was the conservative character because she's like, oh my god, my god, my god.
No. I
But-
mean like when you're watching the show, you don't think of it as like a political show because they
No,
had a little bit of everything
No,
in there.
from day one, from episode 1, it had a political spin.
See, I didn't see it that way.
Sexual revolution is the whole spin.
Yeah, but I thought they handled it quite well to where they showed
While
multiple sides
it
of
was
things.
still funny,
Yes.
they show. Think of all the conservative characters in the show. They're all toxic characters.
Like who? Which ones are conservatives?
You've got Jay's dad, who's supposed to be like the conservative businessman.
See, I never saw him as a conservative. I just saw him as a jackass. He was just a
that's
bad.
how Hollywood sees conservatives.
Mm.
Look at Andrew's dad, a religious man who's stingy with money.
Oh,
and-
the Jew?
Yeah. While they were doing the Jew stereotype too, they still made him. He's like, oh, he's a very straight by the book guy,
Mm.
and they made him look like an asshole too.
But see, I thought they did very well about doing that to the other side as well. Like,
I'm not saying they didn't make the liberal
what was
characters look.
Missy's parents
Missy's parents, yeah,
about
yeah.
how they were so far hippie and all that kind of stuff, and that would be more on the liberal side about peace and love. And I thought they
the
did
way
good
they
about
did it
making
is
fun of that
still
shit.
they still made them look like the more caring parents, right?
Okay, that's fair.
They're,
But
they're trying to make it look nauseating but more caring, as opposed to, I don't want that at all. They're too
I
strict.
don't like this person. Okay.
Right.
Well, I'll give them credit. The first 3 seasons still cracked me up. But I also thought it was a very clever way to talk about those kind of issues, because you get things like the Shame Wizard, which was one of my favorites. I
Right.
love the Shame
Like
Wizard.
I said, you could do a lot of those things without actually animating the specific things.
True. But no, Cuties, not so much. That is a 11-year-old.
Actual children and
Actual
not
children
adults
porn.
playing.
But now it makes me
characters.
concerned with everything that's come out in these last few years. If they had how many kids audition for that?
They had over 800 girls audition, and they used the dance scene at the end, the most raunchy part, as the audition.
I was about to say, I wonder what they made them do in the audition.
Yeah.
Which is fucked up to think about.
Yep. It's like when that rapper, I don't remember who it was, but there was a rapper who did a video, and he had a white kid and a black kid on stage, and then like put a noose around the white kid's neck,
What the
and
hell?
then in the next scene you just see dangling feet, and you're like, the fuck? There was he was at a concert like the next couple weeks or something after that music video dropped, and a guy stormed the stage and decked the fuck out of him and said, "How dare you do that?" And then he got escorted out. And that's how it all went. That's how it all blew up. People found out about the video because that guy went viral for beating the shit out of him on his own concert.
Well, bravo. You can't preach about racism and then turn around and say it's not racist to kill somebody who's not your
You know what I think is worse
color.
than that video? The mom of the child who let that happen.
Oh, yes, the parents who allowed the kid to be
To
the
be-
one that got hung
To be
in the video.
the symbolic. Well, they didn't actually kill the kid.
I know.
But
Or did they?
put them in that scenario, make it be like, oh, I'm trying to put a real image or trying to strike an image or something.
That's the thing nowadays is it's really not the kids that are causing a lot of the problems, it's the parents.
When
because,
has it ever been the kids causing the problems?
well, you've got all these kids nowadays. I don't know. We're just
Who are
working-
groomed by their parents and their
Yes.
teachers and media and TikTok and all that garbage.
all that kind of stuff. Well, I mean, let's do it this way. I'll use this as an example. I'm doing the show The Music Man right now.
The music.
And the show takes place, it was written in the 50s, and it's a classic Broadway
I
show.
thought it was written in like the 30s.
No, it was in the 50s
Was
is
it
when it was
50s?
written, but it takes place in 1912
Okay.
in Iowa. And back then, before they had the Girl Scouts and all that stuff, they had clubs that were Indian culture and all that stuff. So in the show, there
Oh,
are the
yeah.
Watani girls. Now, we're doing the show as it was written because
I'm
it
very
takes place.
glad. That was one thing when we went and saw it last weekend that you guys still kept in the Watani, What?
Yeah, no, it's we do the show as the show is done because it's a timepiece. This show takes place in 1912. Doesn't take place in 2022. Now, the Broadway version is with Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster, which we might have talked about this before. They are coming under a lot of flack because they have basically rewritten the classic show
Oh God.
to make it woke. And their tickets are $500 to $600.
Holy shit.
The Watani is gone. Just completely gone. They rewrote Shapoopy.
Because
because
the hussy line.
Because the lyrics are, because it was originally written, or at least the way I take it, is you're courting a woman. It's about flirting. It's about dating. It's whenever you were, because back then,
people didn't kiss on the first date.
no, they didn't.
You barely held hands.
Back then, it's like Marion, the character in the show, is in her late 20s, and she's not married, and she's considered an old maid.
Yes.
Like the little girl says, I'll end up an old maid
Let's
like
be
you.
real. Any unmarried woman past 25 is an old maid. Fight me.
We just went back to 1912, ladies and gentlemen. We just went back. But so anyway, so that was like, it's the time period. People are so worried about PC and all that stuff nowadays that they forget that if you're doing something from a different time, you have to do it that way. But,
Like Beauty and the Beast, when they gave all those black people rights in 1800s France.
Yeah, it was 1800s France, and all the black people were the business owners. And I was like, no. I was like, I mean, it's whatever. It's Beauty and the Beast, but you can't. That's where the double standard comes in, is that you can't have it one way and
you
then
can make all the white people black, any kind of minorities. You can make them any kind of gay, straight, or bisexual, but you can't make any minority characters white people. I thought that's where you were going with that.
Oh.
You said
I don't.
It all goes one way.
I was going.
like,
I was
if-
not
if-
going that way.
Well, you got Marvel and DC who keep like race swapping superheroes and stuff, or
But God forbid, if Black Panther was played by a white guy.
Right.
But they want Superman to be played by a black guy. And even black people are like, no. They're like, just
You
do
have
a
all
black-
these other black superheroes.
They're like, just use a black superhero. That's what was so good about Black Panther, is that it wasn't just a black superhero. It was a black superhero with his own origin,
with a backstory
involving the racial things
The
that
thing
would
is,
be in that world.
I want Warner Brothers to do Static Shock. I want a live action Static Shock, but I know they would destroy the shit out of it because they rewrote the comics.
I don't know Static Shock.
What?
I don't know that one.
Okay, so it was a cartoon around the same time as like Batman Forever and stuff.
Oh God, those are the dark ages.
Actually, no, it's a little later, or it's a little earlier later than that. So it's like early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was great. He's at a protest or whatever. Ends up, I don't remember how he gets his powers, but he gets shocked or chemically whatever. Anyways,
He probably fell into something like they all do.
right, but he has electricity powers, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he has a white best friend. He's a black guy.
So like Electro?
He's a black kid with I think a single mom, right? She's trying to get by, trying to raise him right. He's still going to school, trying to be actually like apply himself in school. Has a white best friend who actually ends up being gay towards the middle of the series. You find out, but they have a moment of it, and then they're like, I don't see you any different. Like they have they have a real MLKJ feel to it, right? Because the whole theme of the show is you have him trying to bridge the gap between pretty much everybody he interacts with. He has a very colorblind approach to people, while characters he does interact with are like prejudiced against other people.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But you said he has electric powers.
But
Is it like Electro?
he gets bullied because Static Shock, so electricity,
Just in general.
right? But
Yeah.
Electro is Marvel, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
But-
was Static Shock DC?
He's Warner Brothers, but he's not technically DC.
Oh, he's Warner Brothers. Okay, so they made their own.
So, I think it might have been a Dark Horse Comics. I don't remember, but
Anyway.
Warner Brothers rewrote it recently, like 2 years ago, to where he was at a Black Lives Matter rally, and the police tear gassed them with some chemical thing that gave everybody their superpowers
Oh god.
and mutants and stuff. And instead of him being like bullied in high school and eventually stopping the bullies and then bridging the gap, they turned him into a vengeful person where he just goes out and basically they made it so he's just mean and evil and he becomes the bully himself instead of trying to fix things, right?
Well, everything has to be an anti-hero now. They've lost all the...
Oh no, they still say he's the good guy. Like not like anti-hero, flat out he becomes overtly destructive towards his bullies even after he's no longer being provoked. Like it's all about vengeance with him instead, but he's still painted as a victim.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Way to go, Warner Brothers. You're on a roll.
Yeah. Take us
Well,
back to the Animaniacs days.
Well, speaking of like the different takes on superheroes and all that, I'm on season 2 of The Boys right now. Did you ever watch The Boys?
No.
That's the Amazon show.
No.
That is an interesting take on superheroes. It's like, it's much more realistic. They're corrupt. They're really celebrities, is what they are.
So My Hero Academia, which has been out longer.
I only watched a little bit of it. No. It's because there's a whole backstory about like how they were created and all that stuff, but it's all corporate greed. So it's a company.
My Hero Academia.
I don't watch it.
You are describing My Hero Academia.
But like they've got like one Homelander is kind of like it's kind of like their Superman, and you see like they're used to be like advertised, and they do press conferences and like they do hero stuff that
So it's a live action My Hero Academia.
I don't watch the fucking
I'm
show.
gonna keep going back to it.
Well, how am I supposed to know? I don't watch it.
It's probably better.
What?
My Hero Academia is probably better.
Well, that's been around for a long time, so of course it's probably good.
It's recent, and like it's 2016, I think, was the first season.
But
the
then-
manga came out in like 2014.
But then The Boys is like a group of them that are trying to expose the corporation. There's like all
Well, at
kinds
least
of
there's a
like,
little bit of a difference there.
Well, but I don't. It's
The
just
bad guys are trying to change society from what it used to be.
It's just an interesting take on superheroes, I thought, in a live action form, because usually you see them as these good guys, like the Avengers and all that stuff. And then this shows, what if real people were superheroes?
Wait, the Avengers were the good guys?
I believe so.
I thought Thanos had something going on there.
Well, we've discussed that before. But
I
this
know,
is like,
Clay stormed out and never came back.
but like, what is it? Like, there's this character named A-Train. They're basically all superheroes have been done before, so you can't do anything that's really, truly unique. So it's like they've got A-Train. It's the Flash, right? You've got Homelander, Superman. You've got Black Noir. He's like Snake Eyes. You've got
Noir?
Noir, yeah, what'd I say?
Noir. It's
Noir.
Noir.
Sure, whatever. He's like Snake Eyes.
Not Noir.
They've got the Deep, which is Aquaman, except he actually has gills on his
torso.
On his torso, he's got these big gills.
On his torso.
Then in one episode, he hallucinates, and they start talking to him, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And they're like, "Hey, Deep,
Is it like
you gotta
is it
respect
like an R-rated
yourself."
show?
Oh, insanely R-rated. It is incredibly violent. Like, I saw in the first 5 minutes of the first episode, spoiler alert, but you'll find this is what starts the whole plot. This guy, Huey, and his girlfriend are walking down the street, and they turn and they're talking to each other about something, and he goes to kiss her, and all of a sudden, in slow motion, she just, explodes from the inside out. He gets doused in blood and all that, and he's just holding her
Is that
hands.
because he kissed her?
No, it's because A-Train,
Ran through
the
her?
Flash, ran through her.
Yikes.
And then the company tries to cover it up, and it's a whole thing about how like this company is using them as celebrities and it's money and blah blah blah, and how a company that controls your superheroes would actually cover up all the casual the citizen fatalities.
You know, like when you throw a bus at somebody and
Mhm.
everybody inside that bus just disappears.
Like they try to pay him like $40,000 to not bring it up, the fact that their superhero was on drugs and ran through his girlfriend.
Well, he wasn't going to get any anyway.
But that's like what kickstart it.
Which is why it was only 40,000.
You're missing my point.
If they thought that he was going to get a lot more.
But it's like that's how it starts, and there's just all kinds of corruption. But it seemed like a much more interesting take on the superhero trope, and there are some crazy shit that goes down. That's The Boys on Amazon. I'm on season 2, so don't spoil it for me.
I've been wanting to watch Man in the High Castle, and I still need to get into that.
I do not know what that one
It's
is.
if Germany had won World War II.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll
How,
save that.
how America would be.
We'll save that for next week, folks. So thank you for tuning in. Clay, I know you're listening to this because you ran out of here like a little bitch. So, keep running, Clay, because otherwise you might be Fatboy937. We're still trying to figure out. Till next week. Ta-ta.
I'm Dylan. I'm Clay.
And I'm a dumbass.
Oh, and Clay, your outro's never going to be the intro. Let it go. Let it go.
Money.
You serious? You serious?
Okay, why am I being attacked like this?
That's right, Alric. You tell him. There's ramen on the pool table.
Oh, yeah.
Quattro.